Hi, thank you for joining me on the mat and watching this video for Yoga for Change. We're going to be doing a mindful flow class, and I just welcome you to roll out your mat and join me here. We're going to start with some meditation and just breath work before we get into the asanas. So just sit on your mat with both of your sits bones underneath you. If you need to move away some flesh, but just feel solid on your mat, grounding your sit bones into the earth. We're going to come into a seated position called just Sukhasana, or an easy seat, and we're just going to lift our crowns to the sky, drop our shoulders away from our ears, closing our eyes, and just finding comfortable placement on the mat. Just notice your breath. Notice the inhalation and the exhalation. We breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. And we find that calming stillness at the bottom of our exhale. And then perhaps slowly we'll increase the depth of the inhalation and the length of the exhalation. Start breathing through the nose, in and out, just a little bit deeper, paying attention to the quality of your breath, noticing the rise and fall of the chest, the movement of your belly. And then I'll invite you to drop into ocean breath, which will connect the sound of your breath to your practice and keep you centered in the current moment. So if you constrict the back of your throat just a little bit, and just breathe so you can feel the air coming through your throat and you can hear the audible sound. And just noticing your breath. We're going to create space in our practice today, creating space in joints and muscles, creating space for yoga in your life, and just incorporating it as part of your lifestyle. So as you're breathing deeply, just forget about all things that have happened prior to this moment, and no worries about things that are going to come after this moment. Just be here and find stillness. Continuing to breathe, continuing to open up yourself to what will happen in the practice. We'll take a nice deep inhale and lift our arms towards the sky, lifting our hands, bringing our palms together. And we bring our hands down to our heart center for gratitude. We'll circle sweep our arms up again one more time on an inhale, taking all that positive energy with us, bringing it back down. One more circle sweep up. This time we leave our hands up in the air for just a moment, reaching high. And then we start to lower our hands, rotating our wrists to where we're increasing the circulation there. And we get our arms, our hands to shoulder height, and we reverse the direction. We'll circle sweep our arms again up overhead, inhaling up, and we'll lean over to the left. Opening up that right side body, reaching long. Another deep inhale here, and exhale. Inhale brings us back to center, both arms up. Exhale, other side. Inhale, you might come up just a little bit. Exhale, further stretch, opening up that left side body, using your right hand as a kickstand here, keeping your sit bones grounded on the mats. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, other side. Inhaling back to center again. Exhale, we're going to slowly hinge forward keeping our bellies firm, sucking in the core, leaning, planting our hands out in front of us, getting a nice stretch in that low back, perhaps walking our hands out a little bit deeper, getting a nice deep stretch in our shoulders, creating space in the joint capsule, creating space in our low back, and walking our hands back to the center. We're going to come into a tabletop position, so we're just going to swing our legs around, coming into a firm foundation here with shoulders over wrists and hips over knees, just feeling the solid foundation here in this position. We're going to just do what's called cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, lifting our gaze, dropping our bellies. Slowly exhale, tucking our tailbone towards our heels, arching our back upward, pushing through the mat. Inhaling back for cow. Exhale back to the cat position. One more full round at your movement. Inhaling, coming down. Exhale, rounding through the spine, pushing up. And then release back to tabletop. We're going to lift our right hands up into the air. On an inhale, exhale, send it through for threading the needle. And we'll stay here for one breath. And then inhaling back to center and countering. Exhale, letting it settle down. Same thing on the left side. Left hand comes up on an inhale. Exhale, sending it through, resting on that shoulder for just a moment. Inhale, unwinding, a little bit of a counter, and then settling back onto the mat. We're going to allow our hips to float down towards our heels, planting our hands firmly on the mat, settling our chest and our forehead down. Maybe planting our hands firmly on the mat and just pushing away, feeling a nice sensation, opening space again in the shoulder, opening space in the low back. And then coming back to tabletop. We're going to inhale and lift our right heel towards the bottom of the mat, and then sending it over past your left foot. So you're just going to tap that foot on the ground and then look over your left shoulder. Now in this position, you'll feel a nice opening in the hips and in the IT band and your side body on the right side. Inhale brings your foot back to center. Exhale, letting it settle down. Inhale, lifting your left foot towards the back. Exhale, sending it over, tapping the ground, and then looking over that right shoulder. Again, you'll feel an openness here. You'll feel an openness in the side body. You'll also feel an openness in the hip. Inhale brings it back to center, and then release it to the mat. We're going to walk our hands forward, maybe about 8 to 12 inches, planting our hands firmly, and then with our hips still firmly over our knees, we're going to come into puppy stretch. This is a great rest position if you want to come to this at any point during the practice. And in this position, you'll feel a nice openness in the mid-back this time, instead of the low back. You might feel in the low back as well, but this is really a good stretch for opening up and creating space in the spinal segments in the mid-back. And we're going to come back up. Tuck your toes under. Inhale, just pushing into the mat, and just lift your knees slightly, letting your knees hover. And then we exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, sending our hips back into the air, up,
for down dog. And we can bend one knee here as we send the other heel towards the ground. Walking out the dog. Movement with breath. Keeping your core engaged. We'll go ahead and inhale, both heels come up. Exhale, sitting them back down. Inhale, both heels come up. Exhale, bend your knees, walking forward into a forward fold. Now there's a couple different options here. If you have your favorite forward fold, you can do that. What I like to do is grasping each elbow with my opposite hand and just letting my whole upper body and head just hang into ragdoll. Perhaps swaying back and forth. Maybe bending one knee just a little bit so you can get a little bit more of a sway. We'll inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, we bend our knees slightly, coming all the way up to tall mountain. Arms come together, hands come together, hands back to heart center for gratitude. And then from here, we're going to inhale, arms come up. Exhale, coming over to the left, keeping both feet firmly on the mat. Inhale, we rise just a little. Exhale, we come over further, sending our right hips to the right side, opening up that right side body. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, other side. Staying here for a full breath. And whenever you're ready, inhale back to center. Exhale, we're going to bring our arms, circle sweep our arms back down around, bringing our hands into a loose fist, placing them just at the low part of our back next to our sacrums. We inhale, bringing our elbows and shoulder blades together, and let our gaze and chest rise. Staying here for a full breath. One more deep inhale. Exhale, we hinge forward at the waist, coming all the way down. Inhale, we half lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we root to rise all the way back up to our tall mountain. Hands back to gratitude. And we're going to do that flow 2 more times. 1 movement per breath this time. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, circle sweeping our arms back to our low back. Inhale, shine your heart, bringing your shoulder blades together. Exhale, we forward fold. We lift halfway. We fold. Root to rise. And gratitude. One more time, movement with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side. Back to center. Exhale, hands, fists to low back. Inhale, shine your heart, gazing upward. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we rise halfway. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to tall mountain. Exhale for gratitude. From here, we just stay in our current position, finding our breath again. If you've lost your ocean breath, perhaps coming back to that. Find your center. Find solid placement here at this moment.
And then next we're going to go into our sun salutations, and we're going to do 3 of those. We'll inhale, arms come up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we lift halfway. Exhale, we plant our hands, bring our feet back for high plank, and then exhaling to low plank. Inhale, we come into up dog, keeping our core engaged. Exhale, we come into down dog, sitting our hips high in the air, pushing that mat away. Inhale, heels rise. Exhale, we bend our knees and walk forward to our forward fold. Inhale, we lift halfway. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, root to rise. Back to our tall mountain. And then hands to gratitude. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we half lift. Exhale, we come down, planting our hands high to low. Up dog to down dog. Inhale, lifting our heels. We bend our knees, coming to forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, root to rise. And we meet in gratitude. 1 more time. Inhaling up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, we fold. Planting our hands. High plank to low plank. Inhale, we lift our chest. Open your hearts. Exhale, back to down dog. Lifting our heels. Coming to forward fold. Half lift. We lower. Inhaling, coming to tall mountain. And back to gratitude. Again, we find opportunity for stillness. Coming back to our breath. Coming back to our feeling on what brought us to the mat. We're finding centeredness. So our next position will explain what tall mountain is. We'll explain what mountain pose is. We've done tall mountain. Our mountain pose is simply our feet firmly on the mat, about hip distance apart. We're going to have engagement in our calves, in our quads and hamstrings. The knees will have perhaps a micro bend. And we'll tuck our tailbones towards the heels, and that pivots the pelvis in just the right way that lengthens low back. We engage our core, lifting our chest. Inhale, our shoulders come up, around, and back. And then as we push our shoulders down away from our ears, we spark our fingers to the floor, palms coming forward. The crown of our head comes to the ceiling as we tuck our chin. This is our mountain pose. It's actually a very powerful pose, it looks like it's still and just existing, but it's a very active and engaged, powerful pose. It gives confidence. And from here, this is the base of a lot of our standing positions. We're going to meet in the middle of the mat to do a few warrior poses, or our warrior dance as it's called. We bring our left foot forward and our right foot back. Our back foot, the right foot, will be a little angled toward the toes or towards the long side of the mat. Our front leg, the knee, will go just up to just above our ankle, no further, to save their knees. And perhaps our knees are pointed just a little bit towards our pinky toe. So this is our lunge. Again, everything's active, just like in our Tadasana, in our mountain pose, is what it's called. We have a tight core, we engage our calves, we engage our hamstrings. Inhaling, arms come up as we gaze forward. Exhale, we're settling into that lunge, making sure that our knee does not come past our ankle. Inhale for a full expression, reaching tall. Exhale, settling just a little bit more, deepening into that lunge. One more inhale. Exhale, we twist to our warrior two position. And our front knee is going to stay about the same. Our back foot will rotate to where the knife edge of our foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat, to the back side of the mat. Inhaling, the arms come up. Opening up the chest, kissing our shoulder blades together. But it's as if our fingertips are being pulled apart. And we gaze over those front fingers. Inhale, we straighten that front knee, lifting our hands. Exhale, we fall back to warrior two. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. And pause here. Go ahead and flip that front hand forward. Inhale, reaching. And then as an exhale, we reach tall, as if you're throwing a softball behind you. And this is our exalted warrior position. You can feel the side body opening. Deep inhale. Exhale, back to warrior two. We're going to reach forward again. Inhale. Exhale as we windmill our arms around. And our right arm comes to the ceiling. Reaching tall as our left elbow is resting lightly on our knee. Another option here is you can always come down to the floor, or if you have a block, you can put your hands on a block. This is our extended side angle. The more you bring your arm closer to your ear, you open up even more of that side body, but straight up is fine. Your gaze can either be up towards your hand or straight out, whatever's more comfortable for you. Deep inhale for your full expression, shining your heart to the ceiling. Exhale, we'll bring our hands around and frame that foot, bringing our right foot up on our toes for our low lunge. We inhale, lifting our chest. Exhale, settling into that lunge. Plant our right hand firmly on the mat. Inhale, left arm comes up for a little bit of a spinal twist here. Exhale, brings your hand back down. And as we lean into our front foot, we can kick off coming back into our forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, folding. Inhale, we rise. All the way back up to our tall mountain. Exhale to gratitude. We're going to do all of those positions. This time we bring our right foot forward and our left foot back. And just to kind of remind you of our foot placement, our knee will go just over the ankle, slightly towards the pinky toe, and our back foot is actually angled where the toes are at the long side of the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, we settle into the lunge. Inhale, sparking our fingers. Exhale, settling. One more deep inhale. Exhale, coming to warrior two. And just as a reminder, our back foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat, to the back of the mat. Inhale, we straighten that front knee, lifting our hands. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we fall. And pause here. Go ahead and flip that front hand over, palm up. Inhale, reaching. Exhale for that exalted warrior. Your left hand can be either in the center of the small of your back, or it can come down to your left leg. So opening up the side body on the right side here. Deep inhale for your full expression. Exhale back to warrior two. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, windmilling our arms. Left arm comes up. Again, an option of having your hands all the way to the floor or to a block, or perhaps your hand, your elbow on your knee, your extended side ankle. Deep inhale, lifting those left ribs towards the ceiling. Exhale, go ahead and windmill those arms on around, planting, framing the foot. Left foot comes up on your toes. Plant your left hand firmly. Inhale, right arm comes up. Exhale, settling back down. We lean into that right foot, kicking off the left, coming into our forward fold. Inhale for half lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we root to rise to our tall mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Coming back to breath, coming back to centeredness. If you've forgotten about the ocean breath, this is an opportunity to engage that sound again. Feeling the sensation of your feet on the mat. Feeling the sensation that the space that the practice has created so far in our joints, our muscles, how perhaps you have more awareness of your body. Just bringing your mind's awareness to the rise and fall of your chest, to the movement of your belly. We're going to come back to our standing position, our mountain pose. We're going to do just a little bit of balancing here. So you'll start at the top of your mat, and I know I'm in the center of mine, but that's okay. So again, with your feet about shoulder distance apart, about hip distance apart, I apologize. Bringing our engagement in our legs, tilting that tailbone towards our heels. So we get into this firm foundation, and we're going to bring awareness in that left foot, bringing the weight of our bodies into that left foot, and then slowly coming up on our right toes, splaying our right knee out to our right. Now we can bring our foot up once we find a solid foundation here, and it helps to have a still point that you're staring at. You can bring your foot up to your calf, or you can even leave it here where it is, and that's fine. This is called our tree position, or you can manually place it to the thigh. And if you're a little wobbly, that's okay, because I can be too. So for today, I'm just going to come to this tree position, bringing our hands to heart center. You can grow the limbs of your tree if you like. And whenever you're ready, you can bring that knee to chest. And then we'll slowly lower it down, bringing it behind us, setting up for our next position, which is our pyramid shape. So in this, our feet are about hip distance apart this way, and it's like they're on railroad tracks. So you're going to see both your feet parallel, We're going to inhale, chest rises. Exhale, we start to hinge at the waist. Pausing halfway. Putting our hands here on the hip creases. Pushing our left hip slightly back, pulling the right one slightly forward, making sure that it's square to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, we hinge on forward. Our hands can come to our shin, our ankle, our foot, or the mat. We'll stay here for 2 breaths. Really feeling the engagement and the stretch in the calf and hamstring. Inhale, we lift halfway. And we pause. Inhale, coming all the way up. And we bring our right foot up to meet the left. We can shake this out, kind of do some circles here. We've just put a lot of work in those muscles in the left leg, so really shake that out a little bit. Do whatever organic movements feels good to you in this time. And we're going to set up to do the same thing on the right side. We're going to do the tree pose, coming back to our Tadasana, coming back to that solid foundation. From that solid foundation, we just kind of pivot our weight over the right foot. And you visualize your sternum over belly button, over knee, over ankle. And you find your still point. Coming into the tree position. As long as you don't put the foot on the knee, you can place it wherever along your leg or keeping it on the mat. That's perfectly fine. But this is our balanced position. And it helps us in a meditative way as well. Finding balance physically, finding balance in our mind, the balance creating space in our minds. Inhale, lifting that knee up to our chest. Exhale, sending it on through, setting back up for our pyramid shape on the other side. Again, our inhaling, our chest comes up. Exhale, we hinge forward at the waist, slowly, stopping halfway. Inhale here. Exhale, hinging further, keeping your core engaged. As you come forward, the back might round a little bit as you're coming over, but you want to keep it as flat as you can until you get past that halfway point. One more full breath here. Inhale, we lift halfway. And pause. On our next inhale, we slowly come all the way up. And bring our feet to meet. And of course, we can shake that out. So those balanced positions are actually easier to do if you do have a still point that you're gazing at. So we've kind of brought ourselves up the mountain, so to speak, and we've done some exercising, maybe create a little bit of warmth in our body, creating space for that exercise in our existence there. And we'll start coming down the mountain now, starting slowing things down again. So we're going to come to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, we fold. And we pause here for a few moments. I like to do what's called a gorilla stretch. And I'm just going to come back over to the center of the mat so you can see what I'm doing. Putting my fingers underneath my toes and just stepping on them lightly. And as I pull, sending my elbows out to the left and right, and with a slight bend in my knees, this is a really good low back stretch. You can bend your knees generously and get even more low back, or you can straighten your knees and get a really nice hamstring stretch here. So this is one of your options for a forward fold. I like doing this one as we slow down our practice. We're going to inhale for a half lift. Exhale, coming to high plank. And we lower on an exhale all the way down to the mat. Coming all the way down to the mat.
Uncurling your toes, putting the tops of your feet flat on the mat. Coming to your favorite cheek to your favorite side. We're going to bring our heels up to the ceiling and then just windshield wiper our feet back and forth. This gives a nice stretch and rotation in the low back. And perhaps switching sides to the other cheek so we're not bending turning our neck too far too far of a time. And then coming back to center, letting our toes come back down. We're going to do 3 Cobra moves here and increasing the expression each time. So the first one's just going to be kind of a baby Cobra. Bringing our toes together, zipping our legs together, finding a solid foundation with our pelvic bones and our just finding the set foundation there. Bringing our hands back underneath our shoulders. Inhale, we lift our gaze and our chest. Exhale, we lower back down. We're keeping our elbows tight in here. Inhale, we come up a little bit further, perhaps bringing our chest and belly off the ground. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we push into that mat, coming into our fullest expression. Exhale, back down. Go ahead and curl your toes under, coming back into a tabletop position. Actually, we can unwind our toes. And we're going to come back into child's pose. We're going to settle back our hips onto our heels, reaching forward. Now you'll probably notice that once you get into this position, it's going to feel a little bit different than the first child's pose we did. Planting our hands firmly on the mat and just pushing the top of that mat away from us. And that settles our hips into our heels just a little bit deeper. Gives us more space in the joints and in the spine. And we come back to our tabletop. We'll go ahead and swing our feet around, coming into a seated position, sending our feet long on the mat. And just shake things out. We've been working hard, so shake things out is a good thing. We're going to inhale, lifting our chest. Exhale, we hinge. Lifting our chest, hinging forward a little bit more, keeping our back flat until we get about that halfway point. Then we can start rounding. Now we can reach for our ankles or our feet or our toes. If you can reach for your toes, that's fine. If you can't, that's fine too. But if you can reach for your toes, an option that I like to give people just to create more sensation is if you pull up on your toes, lifting your heels off the ground. That gives you more sensation in the calves, getting a better stretch all through from the heels to the hips. And then maybe grasping those toes pretty firmly and pushing your toes forward gives you a nice stretch in your shoulder. Coming back, lifting those heels, settling down, pushing your toes out. So this is actually pretty similar to the gorilla pose, but in a seated position. We'll go ahead and unwind, inhale, slowly coming up. Bring your right foot in, place it next to your left knee. We're going to bring the right hand behind us, just behind our right hip, kind of like a kickstand. We're going to find a brace here. We're going to do a spinal twist. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, our chest rises. Exhale, we look over that right shoulder. Now you shouldn't do a spinal twist like this if you're having any kind of back problems, any kind of injury recently, or if you feel any pain or pinching, then you want to back out of it. Otherwise, you can inhale,
Exhale for your full expression. And then we'll unwind and then counter that. So we're going to do the same thing, bringing our left foot in next to our right knee. Left hand comes behind us for kickstand. Inhale, right arm comes up. Exhale, we twist. Inhale, our chest and gaze rises. Exhale, we twist a little further. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we twist. And then we unwind, giving it just a little bit of a counter. We'll come back to the center, sending our feet, actually bringing both of our feet up onto the mat, soles of our feet on the mat, about hip distance apart. Bring our hands behind us with our fingers pointing back towards our hips. And just hammock sway our knees back and forth. And as you bring your knees to the right, you can look to the left. Bringing your knees to the left, looking to the right. And we'll do this a couple more times, getting a nice stretch in the hip, in the outer and inner part of our thighs, and a nice release on the low back. We'll come back to center, grasping our shins, and then slowly lowering ourselves down the mat. And then we'll hug our knees into our chest. And then perhaps we'll just rock back and forth from elbow to elbow, giving our low back a little bit of a massage here. And we'll center in the middle. And then from heel to hips, kind of going lengthwise, giving our spine a massage this way. And then we'll settle back down, bringing our knees into our chest, hugging our knees in, bringing our chins to our knees, tight little ball. And then we'll release. We're going to set up for a bridge, which will counter some of the back positions we've been doing. Keep our feet on the mat, our soles of our feet here. Our arms are alongside body. We're just going to push with our feet into the mat. At first, I just want to explain, we're going to push just enough to where it rocks our hips and it lowers our low back, flattens out our low back, where you can feel your entire spine on the mat. So we're going to push in a little bit more. Inhale, lifting our hips. Bringing our hands up underneath, interlocking, perhaps rocking back and forth a little bit to get up on our shoulder shelf. Our hips are pushing towards the ceiling. Inhale for that full expression. Exhale, we lower. Unwinding our hands. And we're going to bring our knees into our chest again. And then we'll lower our feet back down to the mat. This time with our feet together. And we'll allow our knees to fall out to each side. This is our supine bound angle. Just letting gravity do its work here. Allowing our knees to splay outward. Getting a nice stretch on our inner thigh here. Now, if you want to get more sensation here, you can put your hands gently on those thighs, gently pushing down, bringing your knees closer to the mat. It's not that you're trying to get your knees all the way to the mat, it's just in that direction, and you'll just notice more sensation in those muscles, creating more space in the hip.
We'll bring our knees back up, sending our feet long on the mat, bringing our arms overhead for a full body stretch. Deep inhale, stretching long. Exhale, go ahead and bring your hands back down to side body. We're going to go ahead and do an inversion now, lifting both of our feet up in the air. And there's different versions of the inversion. The one we're going to do today is just the simple lifting both your heels to the sky. If you have a block or a blanket, you can set it under your sacrum. If you don't, you can always fold your hands one over the other and placing it just under your low back, under the lower part of your low back. It's called the sacrum. And what that does is it gives a little less engagement in your abs. We've been working our abs and our core quite a bit throughout the practice. So this just gives us, as we're kind of coming to a close shortly in our practice, it allows our stomach muscles to relax. But in this position, with our feet over our hearts, we have the opportunity to return the blood to the heart. Now, if you wanted a more restorative feel, you can always do this up against the wall, which just gives you a little bit more of a, what they call a restorative feel. And whenever you're ready, you can unwind, bringing your feet back down. We're going to do our last pose of the practice, called corpse pose or Shavasana. This is everybody's favorite pose when you really settle things down and you just come back to stillness. We started off our practice talking about creating space for yoga in your day, creating space for breath and meditation on and off the mat, creating space for you to come back to connecting with your own true self. And in this position, we create space for stillness. And just by way of a quick body scan, just to really help ourselves relax, bring awareness to your heels and just feel your heels falling heavy on the ground on your mat. Gravity just pulling your body to the earth, letting go of all muscle control in your legs, allowing your legs to fall heavy onto the mat, bringing awareness to your hips, letting your hip bones falling heavy on the mat, those bones that are touching the mat. All muscle control in your abs and your hips, just completely releasing. Allowing your hands and arms and elbows and shoulders to fall heavy, melting into the mat, melting into the earth. Losing all muscle control in your arms, your hands and shoulders. Letting your shoulders and head fall heavy on the mat, letting gravity just pull you completely into the earth. Releasing any muscle control in your chest and your neck. Allowing the skin and muscles on your forehead to just soften. Cheeks and jaw just slightly loosen and just completely relax. And in this position, we bring our attention, our awareness to our breath again. The inhalation and the exhalation. Noticing that there's a natural pause at the bottom of your exhale. And in this pause is where stillness resides. The calm and peaceful stillness that you can experience on and off the mat. And just allowing you to find some silence and some stillness for a few breaths. Releasing all mental control. Feeling the sensation of your body on the mat. Perhaps we start to just slowly wiggle our toes and fingers. Bringing a little bit of movement back into our bodies. A little bit of sway. And we can bring our knees slowly up, planting our feet on the mat. And then keeping your eyes closed, we'll roll over into a fetal position on your favorite side, protecting your neck by maybe putting your head on your arm or hand. Finding your stillness again. And in this fetal position, it's just a reminder that we have the opportunity to be reborn. Just a little different after our practice than we did when we started the practice. We emerge from our practice as a new person with a new sense of stillness. And we can bring those lessons that we learned on the mat into the rest of our lives and the rest of our days. Keeping your eyes closed, I'll invite you to just take that loose hand, that top hand, and press gently into the mat. Coming back into that easy seat. Just a comfortable position with our legs crossed. Placing our hands on our knees. Finding that sensation of our sit bones on the mat. We inhale, lifting our arms up overhead, circle sweeping, bringing all that positive energy. Palms touching. Hands and thumbs coming down to our forehead. Reminding us of our intuition and our inner knowledge, paying attention to our own wisdom, making smart choices, bringing our thumbs down to our lips, reminding us to speak kindness to ourselves and others. And then we bring our thumbs down to our heart center, reminding us to be grateful for all the gifts we've received, sending love out to all those we meet, and receiving the love that exists around us. May the highest in me honor and respect the highest in you. Namaste.